Assalamu alaikum. So the lesson today is about absolute value inequalities. So the lesson today is about absolute value linear inequality. So we are going to learn how to solve absolute value linear inequality. So let's define what is absolute value linear inequality. So absolute value linear inequality is an inequality defined by one of the following. So given A, B, C, D, E numbers and X unknown. So plus C plus D is less than E, or it can be strictly less, or more than E, strictly greater. So it can be one of those. It's a way how to solve all those type of absolute value. So linear inequality. First thing, we need to move all the number around the absolute value side of the inequality. First, it's like solve for absolute value. So by moving all number around all numbers around the absolute value to the other side of the inequality. The other side of the inequality. So if I pick one of the general case, so for example, if I pick the absolute value of Px plus C plus D is less than E, so what I do, I minus D both sides. If you have minus, you add. If you have addition, you subtract. So this will end up having A times Bx plus C is less than E minus D. Then you divide by A, but here you have two cases. So the two cases are if A is positive, so the sign of the inequality is still the same. So we'll end up having Bx plus C is less than E minus A. plus C will be greater or equal than E minus D over A. You read your statement. That means see what do you have, what type of statement you have. That's what we're talking about the inequality statement. What if you go, we define that there are three types of linear inequality. We have contradiction, we have identity, and we need to, after you statements you have, either is a contradiction or you have identity or you have a conditional, because each one has it very, very careful here. Have absolute value and they have swear they don't even read it. They just move on and open to inequality and don't fall on this that level. What you do first, read what do you have. Is it a false statement or a conditional statement? Type of statement you have. Conclude what you are used to solve because it's a, or you conclude there's no solution because it is a contradiction statement, or you identity. So let me write it in red because very, very check of this statement. So for example, so addiction is a contradiction, and the contradiction, if you see the previous lesson, you will know what type of absolute value is a contradiction statement. So is a contradiction, we conclude by no solution. Let me put here as a reminder. So when we have absolute value of something is less than a negative number, less or equal the negative number, or we have absolute value is less than 0, for example. For this, we have both cases. So either this or this less than a negative number, or absolute value less than 0. So in that case here, there is no solution because this is a contradiction. The reason why, because absolute value is always positive. Absolute value can never be negative. Here, it's mean that absolute value is less than a negative number, which means absolute value by itself is negative, which is false. Here by itself say absolute value is less than 0, and all the numbers that less than 0 are negative number, which means that this statement says that absolute value is negative, which is false again. This is where the two cases we say there is no solution. So let me give you an example. So suppose I want to solve this statement 3 times 4x minus 5 plus 11 is less than or equal to 8. So here what I do, I minus 11 both sides. So we end up having 3 times 4x minus 5 is less than minus 3. Never conclude when you have a minus here and we have a number here in front of absolute value. Make sure that you isolate absolute value. Absolute value must be by itself first. Then you conclude. After that, what you do, you divide by 3. Then you get absolute value of 4x minus 5 is less than minus 1. You see, this is false. Why? Because This means that this statement is negative and absolute value is always positive. So I just say this is false. So no solution. And the same thing if I have this type of inequality. Now 4 minus 7 plus 5 is greater than 5. So minus 5. So which means I will have minus 2 minus times absolute is greater than. So when we divide by negative number, what happens to the sign? The sign gets flipped. Value 5. This statement is negative, which is false. Absolute value is always positive. So this is false. So no solution. This is why I told you never net statement or false statement. Most of the students, they don't read, they just go for it. Value or solution. This is what's on their mind. No, first check if the statement is a true statement. Do you have a true statement? Then move on. You have a false statement? Then stop. So then we conclude or number our solution. And this is the type of absolute value when it's an identity, is when we have absolute value of an expression is greater than a negative number or greater or equal, or absolute value of an expression is greater or equal than 0. So those two cases, those three cases, if you want to use the other inequality, are the case when it's an identity. So let me give you an example. So for example, if I pick 4 times absolute value of 5x minus 2 plus 7 is greater or equal than 7. So here what I do, I minus 7 both sides. So I got 4 times 5x minus 2 is greater than 0. Divide by 4. I divide by positive, so the sign stays the same. So I got absolute value of 5x minus 2 is greater than 0. This is true, always true, because absolute value is always positive, which means that is either greater or equal than 0. So this is true. Then I can say or number of solution. So I don't have to open it and solve for x here. You see, I stop here. This is the true state. This is by this. I work for me here. Minus the absolute value of 2x minus 8 plus 9 is less or equal than 13. I got minus absolute value of 2x minus 8 is less than 1 minus 1 minus 8 and when we divide by negative number, we flip the sign. So it's going to be every every positive number is greater than any negative number, which means that this statement is a true statement. Whatever x I pick, I'm not dealing with x or no need to absolute value. When you have a true statement, you don't anything. Just conclude right. Last is if then we open the absolute value. When it's conditional, we open the absolute value. Open the absolute value into two inequalities. Then solve each one. And solve each one. So when it's possible to have conditional is when we have absolute value of an expression is greater than a positive, or greater or equal than a positive, or absolute value is greater than 0. Not greater, sorry, less or equal than 0. So those are conditional. So let's give you an example. So for example, if I have minus 5 times 2x minus 9 plus 7 is greater or equal than 7. So here I minus 7 both sides. So I got minus 5 times 2x minus 9 is greater than 0. Divide by minus 5. When we divide by negative, we flip the sign. Here, you can say this is less than 0. Yes, but it's less or equal, which means that all 9 is equal to 0. So either have the absolute value 0 or the absolute value is equal to 0. This is not true, which means that I have only this value equations now. So if absolute value is equal to 0, that means I add 9 both sides. So 2x equals 9 because this is cancelled out. Then we divide by 2, which means that sometimes inequality may have one solution. So this is greater than 17. Here I minus 11 both sides. So I got 2 times, so the value of 4x minus 9 is greater than 6. So divide by 2. So I will have absolute value 4x minus 9 is greater than 3. So if you see the previous lesson, so you know if absolute value is greater than a number, that means the distance of that expression is more than 3. That means I have two location of that expression is either that expression is greater than 3 or that expression is less than minus 3. minus 3. So this is exactly how you open it. So let me refresh your memory about this. So the distance from 0 is 3. So I have two locations where the distance is 3, either minus 3 or 3. I need the expression should be the absolute value of that expression should be greater than 3. So either that location is true for the expression, that means either I have 4x minus 9 is here, or I can have 4x minus 9 is here. So either you see here 4x is greater than 3, and here 4x minus 9 is less than minus 3 because it's come after the negative. So this is how we can open the absolute value if I have that case. So please review the previous lesson. It will give you the general idea how to solve absolute value inequality with the cases and the solution for each case. Now here this is just a linear inequality, so I just need to solve as regular. So plus 9 both sides. So here I will get 4x is greater than 12, or 4x is less than 6. So divide by 4 both sides. X is greater than 3, or x is less than 3 half. So we have different way how to express this. This is a solution, or I can use. So it's include, both of them include x is, so I'm going to shade this part. So I can say it's binary 3 half, root 3 half, union 3 infinite. Teacher ask you, so you just give them any type. Let me give you for this. So I have minus 3 times 4x minus plus 11 is greater than minus 4. So here I minus 11 both sides. So I got minus 3 times 4x plus 9 is greater than minus 15. Divide by minus 3. So here divide by negative, the sign flipped. So 4x plus 9 will be, absolute value will be less than 5. Now again in my number line, I know that the distance from 0 to 5 is either from that side on 5 or on negative 5. The absolute value should be less, that means the distance should be less. So in location like here or location like here, the distance is less. That means here I can have 4x plus 9, or here I can have 4x plus 9, which means that 4x plus 9 is less than 5, or 4x plus 9 is greater than negative 5. So either I use that idea, so minus 5 is less than 4x plus 5, which is less than 5, or I can choose this minus 5 is less than 4x plus 9, and 4x plus 9 is less than 5. So either way, the both way will give you the same answer, but the way that each one was solved is different than the other one. So let me do both of them, at least you see the idea. So here, whatever I do in that expression, I do it for the other expression. So here I minus 9, so I minus 9 here and minus 9 here. So it's look like I switched the sign here. Sorry guys. It was minus and I put it plus, sorry. So here I will add. Sorry again. Alright, so here will be minus, here will be a minus, here should be a minus, and here should be a minus. I'm sorry again. Alright, now let's get back. So here I add 9, so here it will be 4x because this is cancelled out, it's less than 14, and this one is less than 4. Here what I do here, I do the same thing. I add 9 here, and here I add 9. So I will end up having 4 is less than 4x, and I will have 4x is less than 14. Then what I do, I divide here by 4, so I divide here by 4, and I divide here by 4. So which means that x is less than 7/2 if I simplify here, and greater than 1. That x is less than 7/2. So either you conclude with this state. So this is 1, this is 7/2, so it's not included. Anything between is my solution. Or if you want to use the 7/2, this is all about how to solve absolute value inequality. So I hope that you understand the idea and it's improve my way of teaching. Do so, it's gonna help me a lot. Thank you for watching the video and Assalamu alaikum.